This is an Ellis Mowers and More small engine repair. Stay connected on Instagram and Facebook at Ellis Mowers and More. Comments or questions? Leave them below or email me, ellis@ellismowers.com. Parts used in today's repair are found using the links in the description below. And as always, like and subscribe for more small engine content. On today's video, small engine repair, we're going to look at this John Deere L111 lawn tractor. This is actually a very unique lawn tractor, and as you can probably see in the title of the video, it's got what is today a $2,750 K66 transmission upgrade. I'll go through that in this video. Obviously, it was not done yesterday. It was done when the tractor was new or close to new from my understanding. So we're going to go through all of this John Deere L111. I'll show you a little bit of the transmission upgrade, the best of my ability with it in the machine. Oddly enough, I got this machine cheap because it stopped moving, and I'll show you what that was. I paid $100 for the machine. I have already fixed the issue. It was really easy. Don't even really have to show you on camera. But there are some other issues because it has been sitting for a little while that we need to resolve. So we'll go ahead and get started on this. I'll show you this John Deere L111. L111 John Deere looks good overall. It has about 550 hours on it. Has been sitting for a couple years. The guy bought a zero turn. The L111, if y'all are familiar with the L series, this one comes with the 20 horsepower Briggs & Stratton Intech V-twin on it. So we've got Briggs V-twin, 42-inch deck, and what would have been a K46 transmission on this, tough torque. If we walk around the back, some of y'all may be familiar with this. It has a K66 upgrade kit in it. Now I think this one was done not too long after the mower was purchased back in 2004. But today, if you did this upgrade kit to a John Deere L100 series tractor, it would cost you $2,750 according to RJR Tractor's website. It is cool that they offer this though. They do offer it for X300 series mowers as well because they have the K46 in them also. They do advertise, you know, forever warranty and double the torque. You can definitely feel that this mower does not whine or struggle nearly as much as a K46. So that's actually kind of cool. The thing that they sell about this in addition to the K46 is that this thing is significantly heavier than the K46. I think it's about 20 pounds heavier, the transmission. And then what they actually did is there's a DIY upgrade kit install. So what they did, from what I can tell, is cut some holes in here so that you can have access to your reservoir and then your dipstick here to check your transmission fluid. And then if we get underneath here, I'm going to do my best to get underneath here just to kind of show you what the transmission looks like underneath. Pretty beefy from what I can tell. And like I said, this one's got the standard wheels on it. The one they advertise in the on their website has the kit, like the 5-lug or 4-lug axle conversion kit to put the bigger wheels on it with the lug nuts. So I'm wondering if this is like a lower level earlier on. I bet he didn't pay half as much as what they advertised today for it. The thing is though, what was going on with this machine was underneath here, I don't know if I can show you all very well, but underneath where the belt is, I don't know if we can show y'all, but right there, the tensioner pulley and the main idler pulley for the drive belt rides on that tensioner. You know, it loses tension whenever you push the brake in, tightens it up whenever you release the brake. It was off of those two pulleys. The guy said that it just quit driving one day, and that was his excuse to go buy a zero turn, I think. So that was all that was to be done with this machine for him. I'm giving it new life. I put the pulleys back in. I don't think it was an alignment issue because it didn't shred the belt or anything along those lines. The belt on it actually looks fairly new, so I'm wondering if it was just an improper belt install or something along those lines that prevented it from moving. I'm going to drive it around, obviously, a little bit. What you can also see, I have already had it running just to test it out, and we also to pull it on the truck and stuff. I'll show you it running and everything next. But you can see the residue of some mice that have decided to show up on this. Air filter is in fairly decent shape. The battery's from 2019, so it's probably going to have to be replaced. I do need to get the air filter mechanism off here. So what we've got to do is just undo all of our screws here. We're going to take the air filter off. It was choking when we first cranked it up yesterday, but I drove it up here and it was actually fine. In terms of the deck, we'll have to look at that a little bit closer a little bit later, but we're going to look at the we're going to evict all the house guests that have decided to move up in this thing after it had been sitting for a little while. All I have to do for that is to take off a bunch of 3/8 or 10 millimeters. I think either one of them are going to work. These 4, 5, 16ths off the top. When I get to the point where I'm going to lift off this, I'll let y'all rejoin me and we'll see what's inside. Alright guys, we got a little bit of harsh sunlight, but hopefully y'all still be able to see what's going on here. I have pulled the all the bolts and the little air shroud off here, and we're going to see if we can just pull this regular shroud off. And the good news is it looks like everything was limited right here to the little flywheel fan, which is great. Makes cleanup a little bit easier. It's not down all in the crevices and stuff too bad. So I'm going to get the hopefully y'all can see that without the crazy sunlight, but so just right here at the top, nothing crazy down here. So I'm just gonna take the vacuum and just kind of vacuum everything up here for a couple of minutes, and then what I'll do, I'll go ahead and put everything back on. Or before I put everything back on, what I'm gonna do is change the battery out, and I'll let y'all hear this thing run next. Alright guys, we're gonna show you, I'm gonna crank it up and everything and just show you how it runs and all that good stuff. A couple of housekeeping things that I did on the machine. You'll see these 2 screws that I put in. So the issue here was this shroud was causing the bracket on the bottom had broken off. So it was just flapping down and sliding up against the engine shroud. I have another battery in it. It's actually a 425 cold cranking amp battery. Older battery, but still working good. And the other thing I'm going to have to do is that the front end's a little kicked out, so I'm going to knock those in, or knock one of them spindle tabs in just a little bit so that it doesn't plow out too bad. It's really not that bad. I notice it. I don't know if anybody else, like whoever would buy it, would notice it. But let me hop on this thing and we'll crank it up. Yesterday it was choking for some reason, but today it's doing a good job. Give you a little driving experience here with the K66 on it. Again, the main thing I've noticed is that this pedal right here is much stiffer, like much stiffer. And there's 562 hours. But there's like zero whining on this thing. go backwards, you can just feel, I mean, it's no whining, it's just instant. So, crazy. One thing I am gonna do, let's try the blades, make sure they work, so. There we go. Does it have the reverse on it still? No, that has been disconnected. Awesome. It's not any faster or anything, but there it is. Just a little off, I guess. But it does plow a little bit with the wheels. That's very typical of these when they get older. So, well, that's good. It runs good. Just needs an oil change and a filter change. Deck works. Blades are fairly sharp on it too, from what I can tell, which is good. I'll pull it back down into the garage. I'm going to rip the deck off of this thing, just to give it a good, or at least blow it off. Man, I have to rip the deck off. I just need to change the blades out, align the deck, sharpen everything up, and change the oil. The main thing I wanted to show y'all though was the special kind of transmission on it. I wonder if the headlights work, because that is kind of cool that the transmission does what it does. Both the headlights work on it, so that's fantastic. And also, you know, like I said, just the different transmission on it is really a highlight of the machine. Might even help me sell it a little bit easier, but most people who buy these nowadays don't really care. Like I mentioned earlier, I bet this upgrade was half of what it costs now, maybe even less. So you got to consider that this machine was about, I don't know, L111s, I think were only bought it, you can only buy them at the dealer potentially, I don't know. My guess is that they'd been around $2,000, and if you put another $1,000 in the transmission, or maybe 800, I'm just kind of brainstorming as to what he would have put into it, but 562 hours instead of 82. I'm gonna pull the deck off, blow everything off, and just sharpen the blades on it, change the oil, and then when I get to the point where we're gonna kind of try and knock the front end back in, I'll let y'all rejoin me then. So I've got it on the jack here. I've also cleaned it off some to make it look a little bit better. As you can see, it looks fairly decent now. This does have a couple of the common John Deere issues. I don't know if you can tell, you'll be able to tell it with it on the ground, that the front end is kicked out a little bit. We're going to see if we can remedy that. And then the other issue, which happens a lot with these machines, if we come down here, I could probably show y'all underneath here. So you see the difference in height between that left blade and that right blade? Well, it turns out the right blade's a little bit bent. I swapped the two blades just to see. It was even worse than that. And if you can't really see it very well visually, but I can physically see the left deck spindle way down on the inside. So I'm going to pull this deck off and fix that pretty much the end of the day today, so I'm going to hit that tomorrow. However, one thing I am going to hit before the end of the day is see if I can get this thing straightened up a little bit. All the tires do have tubes in them, except for this right rear, so we'll throw a little ATF in it. And you can already see where the guy, I mean, he took decent care of this machine, because he did cover up some of the rust spots when they started showing up. So that's a good thing. And then also, since it was kept in a garage for its entire life, we don't really have any rust issues on the fender like we often get with these L series John Deeres. So it looks like I will have to pull the deck and bang the blades back into place. Lucky for me, I do have a set of low lift blades here. I don't know if they're mulching blades or not, to swap on, that are good. I just need to sharpen them up, since I do have one bad blade that is bent. So given all that, I think we've got a fairly decent machine here after I do that, and should be ready to go tomorrow after I fix the deck issues, and be ready for sale and ready to go to a new home, which is exciting. Alright guys, what I've done, I've taken off the drag link, which is a 13 millimeter and a 9/16 or a 5/8, and removed it. 13 on the top, 5/8 on the bottom, or a half on the top, whatever you want to do. So what we were having issues with is the alignment, like the alignment on the front here. You can kind of see it's a little toed out, right? So what you got to do is pull the drag link off. I'm going to pull this spindle tab and hammer it out this way. I thought I had to go this way, but I was going the wrong way. So you just take the hammer, be careful. Move that tab out a little bit, and what I will eventually do is allow you to have a more straight front end. You just have to hammer it out a little bit. And then, let's see. So we're already looking better. Let me put it on again. The negative to doing it this way, though, is when you back up, it will toe in, but you'd rather be going straight, and it's a lot cheaper than buying new drag links on a machine that's got over 500 hours on it. So there we go. Let's see if we've got it any better here. It looks like it's very slightly better. So I may do one more round, because I want it dead straight when it's going forward, and we're still pushed out just a little bit on this side. So I'm going to work on it a little bit more, see if I can get the alignment just a tiny bit better. But that's what I usually do whenever I have any machines that, like the John Deeres and the Craftsmans, that have minor alignment issues. You can usually knock them spindle tabs out and get them to where they are fairly even though they will toe in a little bit when you're backing up. It's not that big of a deal compared to having a toe out issue whenever you're going forward. As I'll give you a better view of what these blades and how uneven they are, I don't know if you can see that very well. They're a good ½ inch off. This thing had to have been cutting atrocious before they parked it. And then as evidence, we've also got an impact here on the front, so that looks like a little bit of weld job has been done right there as well. But also, when you look at the top here, you can see, you see this pulley, how slanted down it is like that. So that's not good. What I am going to have to do in order to get this off is I'm going to have to take off the blade, which is a couple of 15 millimeters, and then come around on this side, take off the main spindle pulley here, because what I'm going to try and do is get the spindle off. It's a few 10 millimeters, because what needs to happen is I've got to get up under here with a hammer and just bang out the deck so that this gets evened back up again. So let me grab the tools that I need and we'll go ahead and start working on that, because this is kind of the biggest and the last thing really that I need to do on this machine. So we'll go ahead and take both blades off again, because we are going to replace them with those low lift blades. And so let's see. They were counteracting the weight, I guess, of that. So, but we can go put this down now. And then we've got a couple of 15/16 or 15/16 that we need to take off. So let's see. Get the belt off of it, and then the blade brake. Just wiggling it up. There we go. So now our biggest challenge is going to be these 10 millimeters that I've got to take off. And so what I've got to do is I've got to take off those 4 10 millimeters there, which I'm not going to do with an impact. Well, I may try it with this one. I don't think this is going to work, but yeah, no. I'm going to get a 3/8 inch ratchet here and a 10 millimeter socket. And then we're going to go to town on this. I'm going to loosen the bolts off camera when I get to the point to take them off. Hopefully I don't break them off, because I'm kind of screwed then. I'll get back with you. The news is they all broke loose, so now maybe I can get them off with just a small impact. That's the one thing about the John Deere mowers like this. They usually don't have issues when it comes to breaking these spindle bolts. And we use a little bit more encouragement on this one here. That should be enough. Alright, so that means the spindle is coming off now. We'll lift the deck up, get it out of the way, and then now what I'll do is I'll turn the deck upside down. What needs to happen is this side we just got to hammer the mess out of. So let me grab a hammer. And so, like I said, it's this side right here that has fallen down. So we just gotta hammer the mess out of it. You're probably like, goodness gracious. Well, we've got to get it all hammered up again, right? I'll do this have as well. Just do the whole thing right there. And what it is it's literally a trial and error aspect. So it's like hammer it up a little bit, stick the spindle back on, see if it works. So what we could do here is, since we got it on like this, turn it this way. Let me get the new blades. And these blades are much better, so much better, at least in terms of alignment. They didn't have as much of an edge on them, but that's okay. So let's see what we've got here. Now we are running into each other for some reason. Probably because I don't have it fully centered. Maybe I went too far. May have gone too far, y'all. So, got a little over ambitious, I suppose. So let me go to the other side now. I didn't mean to go that far up, but let's see. Let's try that. Got a little excited there, I suppose. All right, let's see. Now we're in. Oh, that's pretty close. That's pretty close. I think I want to tighten it down, it'll be okay. It's a lot better there, ain't it? A lot better. So I'm going to tighten everything back down. I'll double check everything just to and give y'all a visual confirmation that it's pretty close. And hopefully we'll be good to go after that. All right, just confirmation to show y'all. After I bolted everything back together, they are almost dead on. I wish these blades had a little bit better edge, but they still have good lift on them, and they are even. They're not bent, unlike the one on the right there. So it should cut a lot better now. And the only other thing I really, may need to do is spot paint it a little bit, which I can do once I get it back on the mower, because it's not that many spots to have to do that with. Make sure that everything is still good when we turn it. They're not hitting each other. It's just because I didn't have the spindle in the right spot. So I'll get the pulley back on. I'll turn the deck around just to show you where the mounting points are on it. And just show you where they are on the machine as well, just in case you're doing this for the first time. So I do need to put the big pulley back on, but these arms face forward just like this, and we'll attach them on the back to that portion of the bracket. That's where you also adjust the height of the mower deck, and you have your mount in the front right there as well. Now on the machine, if we get down here, so where that little mounting point is right there in the middle of your screen roughly, that's where your front mount is going to be. Your rear mount is going to go on that bracket right there. You can also take it off up there if you decide, but I find it easier on these L series to do it right there. And then your front arm right there. Don't forget you have to connect your cable. Your cable slides into this bracket right here and attaches right there. So that's all you've got to do. I'm going to go ahead and put the mower deck back on. I'm also going to put a couple of dust covers on the front 2 wheels, and I think that's about it, which is great. This thing's we're gonna give it a little bit of a nice shine, and it will be ready for sale here in honestly about an hour or so. I am going to drive it around a little bit because of the pulley situation under here. Where was it? Right there, where it was off of those 2 pulleys. I don't see anything weird with the belt. As you can see, it's one of those blue belts, which is in like new condition, so that's awesome. And so I'm just thinking that it was improperly installed or something along those lines. But because the transmission works great, it does. I do feel the torque. It feels like it's got quite a bit of torque with it, considering what they usually come with K66. The pedals are a lot stiffer, but that's probably because it's moving a little bit more hydraulic fluid through the system as well. So, put it all back together. I'm going to do a little shine on it, make it look good. Maybe even a couple little, I bought some yellow and black duct tape, so I may throw a little bit of duct tape on the seat there just to make it look a little bit better. And we'll be done here in just a few. Alright guys, let's take a look at this thing. It looks really good after I gave it just a very, very light glaze of transmission fluid on the plastic, and then clean the headlight bezel and everything from it. We'll get a little bit better look outside when we get out there. But just kind of sprayed some of the areas that needed to be sprayed, and if we just give it a good look, it's looking really good. Put a couple of dust covers on the front for the front wheels that were missing. Got it aligned. It seems like it's better, like I showed y'all earlier in the video. I got some yellow duct tape a few days ago and just kind of taped over the exposed spots in the seat just to make it a little bit better. I'm trying to make my mowers look a little bit better whenever I'm selling them by repairing the minor cosmetic things if I'm able to. So that's it. I'm going to get it outside. We'll go for a final run. One other thing I might do, because the reverse thing is a little cumbersome in this, is inside here we have a reverse switch, and what I do a lot of times, it's got a just a straight wire and a yellow wire going to it. I get a jumper wire to jump it between the two. That way, it's a selling feature that it will cut in reverse without having to push that annoying button. But also, if you want it, all you got to do is unplug the jumper wire and plug in your plug it back into the switch. It's just one of those little mods that I always do on these machines, just because nobody, unless you have young kids, want to have to push a button every time you want to go in reverse on this. So we'll get it outside, we'll go for a final run and wrap everything up. All right, let's see if it'll start this morning here. about it, but it's not doing that anymore. I'm just gonna sit y'all down as I take it for a drive up and down the block here, or up and down the driveway. So that's pretty good, guys. Looks it's doing good. I'm going to drive it around a little bit more just to make sure that it's not going to throw the belt off or anything. But you can tell the difference that that transmission definitely puts a load on the engine whenever you're moving. So you would expect it as a heavier duty transmission. I couldn't imagine somebody putting this on an engine that's like a single cylinder Briggs. It'd be a little bit of a extra, extra load on it. The front end is okay. I wish it was a little bit better, but it is doing fine. Of course, the tires are all kind of weirdly, probably drive better with some new tires, but they're a little weirdly shaped just from what is going on here. So just from the way that it's had to run for a little while with the front end. But it steers fine, backs up fine. I leveled the deck, I greased the spindles, and just made it a really decent looking machine here. So we'll finish this video up next. Alright guys, that is everything on this John Deere L111 that has the upgraded K66 transmission. If you have had experience putting one of these transmissions in from RJR Tractor, RJR Tractor LLC, let me know how much they may have cost when this machine was first made in 2004. It probably was somewhere a lot more reasonable than $2,750. However, it is a nice little upgrade for this machine because sometimes the K46s have issues. I usually don't see them very much have issues, which is a good thing, as long as they're not used to pull houses and things along those lines. However, if you are doing a bunch of pulling, it may be worth getting an upgrade transmission like this K66. Had a few of the issues that these typical L series John Deeres have, with the front end a little bit out of alignment, the deck spindles, tabs being misaligned, and I had a bent blade I had to replace with a set of blades that I had here. So all in all, I don't even have I think the battery that was in this charged back up, so I don't even know if I have any money into this, truthfully, besides the parts that I have here. The air filter was clean enough to knock out and reuse. And nothing else, maybe some $4 duct tape to get the seat going, but Hey, I got $100 in this. It's probably going to fetch around $600 to $650. The upgraded transmission on a machine like this is not going to really add to the value of it, unfortunately, because somebody's just going to take this and cut grass with it to have a relatively inexpensive John Deere. I'll link RJR Tractor's website just so y'all are familiar with it. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. Just so you have an idea of the products that they offer and what all is entailed in terms of the details of this transmission. But and I'll also put all the common parts that you may need on one of these John Deere L111s. Pretty cool machine. Never had an L111 before. I've had L100s and L110, and I've had an L120 before. So a little bit different, just to kind of see what they offered around 20 years ago for their box store John Deere models. Although this one was bought somewhere in Kansas, and I'm in North Carolina, so this thing's gone halfway across the country in its lifetime, based on where the previous owner lived and had the machine shipped. Probably not too long after it was bought and upgraded with the K66 transmission. Let me know if you like this new way, or this new camera with the phone. I am noticing that it is a lot tighter and I have to get a little bit further away in order to show y'all what I am doing on these machines. I'm going to try it for a few more videos. I may end up venturing getting a new GoPro. We'll see. I think the audio is a little bit better with this too. And so if it is, then I may just keep on cruising with this until it dies as well. But thanks again, as always, for the support, and thanks again for watching this video, and I'll catch you on the next small engine repair. Take care.